TruSens Z-3000 promises whole room purification up to 750 square feet with dual airflow, a remote sensor pod that finds bad air for you, UVC to fight germs, and a 360-degree DuPont filter. Either we've reached clean air nirvana or this is another shiny tower playing spec sheet bingo. On paper, you get PureDirect dual airflow, auto mode driven by PM 2.5 sensing, a color AQI ring, and a sleek footprint that looks premium on a desk or floor. Sounds criminally generous, right? But here's the thing, some of those numbers don't tell the full story, and a couple details had me raising an eyebrow. I ran the Z3000 for 2 weeks in a 420 SQ-FT living room and a 12x12 bedroom, used a particle counter, a VOC meter, and a few smoke and cooking tests. I've put the direct link to check current pricing in the description, but before you click anything, let me show you what I discovered after a solid 2 weeks of testing. Here's what the Z3000 claims to do. Remove allergens, dust, smoke, and odors in large rooms while being smarter and more efficient than typical purifiers. Key promises include coverage up to about 750 SQ-FT, SensorPod remote monitoring for better placement and auto adjustments, DuPont 3-in-1 HEPA filtration plus UVC to reduce growth of microbes on the filter, PureDirect dual airflow for better distribution. Sounds impressive, right? But here's where things get interesting. Reality check, coverage first. They claim large room purification up to roughly 750 SQ-FT. What you actually get is coverage that depends heavily on how many air changes per hour you need. Here's why CADR is the realistic metric. Reported CADR for Z3000 sits roughly in the low 200s, think around 200-240 depending on pollutant. In a 750 SQ-FT room with 8-foot ceilings to hit 4-5 air changes per hour, the allergy-asthma sweet spot, you'd want something closer to 350-450 CADR. At the Z3000's level, you're looking at about 2-3 OC in that space. Translation: fine for general dust and light odor control, not great if you've got wildfire smoke, heavy cooking, or severe allergies in a truly large room. Evidence: in my 420 SQ-FT living room during a cooking test, PM 2.5 jumped to 65 microg/M3. On turbo, the Z3000 brought it to 18 in 35 minutes, then 11 after an hour. Good improvement, but not the rapid drop you'd get from a higher CADR unit. Next, the HEPA story. They suggest HEPA performance, but some listings and replacement filters say HEPA type, not true HEPA. What you actually get depends on which filter you buy. Here's why that matters. True HEPA is rated 99.97% at 0.3 microns. HEPA type can be looser, around 99%, and not standardized. In my bedroom test with the DuPont filter marketed as true HEPA, 0.3 micron counts dropped from elevated to low within an hour. But I've seen user reviews showing weaker fine particle results when people unknowingly bought the HEPA type refill. That's expensive confusion, not upselling, UVC claim. They claim UVC reduces growth of bacteria and viruses on the filter. Reality: it does nothing to increase CADR or trap more smoke, dust, or pollen. It's a filter hygiene feature, not a performance booster. Here's why. The UVC sits inside the housing aimed at the filter surface. It may reduce microbial growth on the filter media, but it won't clean the air faster or remove VOCs. Plot twist. It adds ongoing cost, and bulbs eventually need replacing. SensorPod and auto mode. They claim the remote sensor finds dirty air in the room for more accurate control. What you actually get is a handy pod that runs on AA batteries and sends readings back to the base. Here's the catch: connection drops happen, and sensor readings can lag or differ from nearby monitors. Evidence. In my living room, the pod lagged a few minutes behind a third-party sensor when cooking smoke spiked, so the fan didn't ramp instantly. It did catch up and clear the space, but don't expect magic telepathy. Noise and power. They suggest quiet, efficient cleaning. Reality: sleep is whispery and nice for bedroom use, but turbo gets loud. Measured at roughly arm's length with a phone SPL app, I saw low 30s dB on sleep and low 60s on turbo. That's normal for the airflow it moves, but let's be real, you'll hear it on high. Power consumption is also mid-pack at full blast, not category leading. Here's where things get interesting: ongoing costs. The DuPont HEPA and carbon filters plus UVC bulb add up. If you follow the recommended intervals, you could be spending a decent chunk yearly on consumables. Multiple review sites and user feedback echo this. Air cleaning performance. In small to medium rooms, the Z-3000 performs well on particulate matter. Smoke and fine dust reductions were respectable, from the mid-60s micro G/M3 down to low teens within about an hour on turbo in my 420 SQ FT space. In a 12x12 bedroom, it reached single-digit PM 2.5 faster. What nobody tells you, reported CADR per watt is average. If you want speed in a large room, units like Blueair 211 Plus or Kawai AirMega 300-400 class push higher CADR and turn over air faster. Sensor pod and auto mode. Auto is genuinely convenient, and the pod placement near pollution sources can be smarter than a base-only sensor. But the marketing doesn't mention that pod disconnections and battery swaps are a thing. In my testing, a brief disconnect defaulted the base to its own reading, which was lower than the pod during a cooking event, delaying a max fan response by a few minutes. Not deal-breaking, just not magic. Build quality and maintenance. The tower looks clean and modern, the top control ring is intuitive, and the 360-degree filter cartridge is easy to swap. Here's what nobody tells you. You need to be mindful which DuPont filter you order. The brand sells multiple cartridges, including HEPA type and true HEPA variants, plus specialized carbon options. Choose wrong, get worse performance. Carbon per filters need regular changes to control odors, adding to cost. Noise and power. Sleep mode is genuinely bedroom friendly. Medium is a good balance for day-to-day. On turbo, it's audible enough that you'll likely reserve it for spikes. Compared to competitors, noise is typical for its airflow class. If ultra-quiet with high CADR is your goal, you'll be shopping larger machines or multiple smaller units. Verdict: buy with caution. If you want a stylish purifier with a handy remote sensor, straightforward controls, and solid medium room performance, the TruSens Z-3000 delivers. Pros: sleek design, simple UI, decent particulate reduction, sensor pod convenience. Cons: average CADR for the price, ongoing filter and UV costs, HEPA type versus true HEPA confusion, and auto mode that isn't as instant as marketing implies. Price fluctuates on Amazon, often in that mid to upper tier for this size. Value check: if your room is truly large or you're battling wildfire smoke, look at higher CADR models like Blueair 211 Plus or Kawai AirMega 300 series. Worth it if you prioritize design and the remote sensor. Skip if you need maximum cleaning per dollar. Thanks for watching. If this review saved you from wasting money or helped you find something actually worth buying, I've put the link to check current pricing and read more reviews in the description. And hey, if you do decide to buy through my link, it helps fund these investigations without costing you extra. Got questions about filters or want me to compare this against Kawai or Blueair head-to-head? Drop a comment. Next up, I'm stress testing budget purifiers under wildfire conditions. Stay savvy and breathe smarter.